Me? Who, me?
You know what? I'm turning this show off right now. If it's going to start this way, I'm out of here.
I just wanted to say before we get started, I posted that Andy was coming on and we're going to talk about the Legend Handbook. And so many people kept asking me if I had a handbook about myself. I was like, no, you're mistaken.
Andy, seriously.
Yeah.
Do you believe this crap I got to put up with this guy all the time? It is just, it's nonstop barrage of BS. Folks, welcome to Detect America. It's Monday night, and I gotta tell you something. We rolled him right into the show, Mr. Andy Sabish. This guy is like the whiz when it comes to metal detecting. So much so that I can't even talk to this guy. He's too technical for me. I just can't. I can't.
Fisher,
really
Fisher,
like.
Come on, man. I try to keep it non-technical. It's not.
I'm a
make
more
it non-technical.
But you know what, Andy? I know why. Because I'm a turn and go guy. So it's like I turn it on and go. And if I find something, I find something. You know, if not, but you are the man. You write nothing but books. You do boot camps. You teach people how to use metal detectors right. Not like Frank goes, here, I know how to do it. Let me fit. Yeah, it's good. Like, can't make heads or tails out of that guy.
Like I said, when I'm setting up your machine, Steve, it could be a pie plate and a stick. It doesn't make a difference. It's not going to be anything better for you.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now, okay? And I've told other people this. You can break my stones, but you know what? I find stuff. I may not be the greatest metal detectorist in the world, okay? I may not go out and find 5 gold rings on a beach in 1 hour, but you know what? You can't deny that I find stuff, Frank. You've seen it.
I know, but with this metal detecting, when you find it in the jewelry box, it doesn't count.
That's bullshit. You've seen me find it on the beach. You've seen me find it.
Look, I just dug this in my backyard.
Holy mackerel! Nice
Dude, that's bigger than your backyard. That coin is literally bigger than your backyard.
Now. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, yeah, you don't have a backyard.
My backyard shrunk all of a sudden.
So, welcome, Mr. Sabish. How are you tonight, sir?
Good. Like I said, trying to stay warm. I mean, we're actually colder here than you are up in New Jersey.
It got chilly in Jersey. It's a little chilly here, but I like it. We had a nice chilly day. The sun was out, and I enjoyed it.
It's like 74 here now. I'm getting ready to light the fireplace. Whew.
How's the wife doing, buddy?
Good. Well, she's a little under the weather. I mean, after we're done here, I got to run over to Walgreens and pick up a prescription. So it's the problem.
I was going to say, is she home? Because she's never home. Only thing I ever see her post is, I'm on my way again, and she's going somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, one of these days, you and I are going to wind up meeting each other, and you're really going to regret that day. You're going to be like, why? Just now I know, because that's what like everybody else is like. Like, I don't know. Mark Hoover don't even like acknowledge me anymore, Gary, because I'm such an annoyance to those guys. And like KG and Ringy have a restraining order against me. It just.
Yeah, but I advised him to do that. So. Yeah, one of these days. I was close. I was close up in Illinois. I was very close to hooking up with Andy, and then his car broke down, and he had bad car problems.
So that was picked up a nail in the rental car, and the rental car company said, "Sorry, that's your problem, not ours." And by the time I got it taken care of, would have been too late to get on the road. So
that's a you problem.
Yeah.
So Andy, tell me, give me a repertoire of the books you've written, and not no ugly box crayon coloring book. Tell me some of the real books you've written.
I put a picture up, and I don't remember if I had 12 or 14, but I know that wasn't all of them.
Yeah, I mean, my first book, I years ago I got involved with Fisher when they were still out in California. I did a book on the Quicksilver. I was involved in the work on bringing that to the market, and then we did a book on it. And that was, I kind of enjoyed doing a book on teaching people how to take a machine that's fairly complicated and make it simple. And I'm able to write it in a way that takes a complicated machine and makes it simple.
That's the big thing, because you know, and everybody knows there's other guys out there that are writing books, but Andy's book is the only one. The CTX. I'll go to the CTX because that's the one I go to the most. I've been using that CTX for almost 10 years now, and I will still pull his book off the shelf and reference to that book because that's how it's written. It's not a book you're going to read. It's a pretty story. Put it down. It's actually it's reference material for me. I mean, I will go to it. And I'll have a question and I'll go to that for the answer.
No.
You know, I've gotten the same feedback from some of the manufacturers that actually, I know MindLab, when we were doing the training, they actually sent some of their people to our MindLab boot camps, and then they picked up our books and take back and give to their new people to teach them about their machines. So,
well, that's the thing. You go in depth to the point where, you know, if somebody doesn't know the first thing about it, they're going to pick up everything that they need to know along the way. And if guys that do know something about the machines, I still use it as a reference book because it answers questions. It still answers questions for me.
Was the CTX book the hardest you ever written?
Yeah, it probably took over a year to put that together.
That's what I think.
You know, again, I mean, you know, there are people. I mean, people think sometimes you sit down in an afternoon and write one of these books on a weekend and you're off to the races. And you know, I mean, if you take the manufacturer's manual and you rephrase it and repackage it, and you can do that. You know, if you want to really get under the hood and figure it out, but then be able to explain it, you need to understand it to be able to explain it, and then to get input from everybody around the world, which is what, you know, what I've done, which kind of sets my books apart. That insight, because I don't hunt, you know, the battlefields of Germany or the gold fields of Australia, but the guys that do can give me information. So no matter where you live or the conditions you're in, you can take these books and apply it to where you're going to hunt.
Now, I know you're saying CTX took you over a year. Well, first of all, if I had to write a book on the CTX, it would have took me 5 years. Ronnie would have shot me.
Yeah.
But I have to believe that the Legend book took a little bit of time.
It did, you know. I mean, actually, I got my first Legend. I mean, I should bring it in and show, you know, put it up on the screen. My Legend, I've got 3 of them. One of them is serial number 1.
No, good.
So,
I mean, they're.
Yeah,
I mean, and how do you? Pardon me. I almost said, how do you stop from pulling your hair out? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, here you go, man.
But how do you keep from going crazy? And again, and everybody knows I like the Legend. I like the Legend a lot. But along the way, with the changes that went in pre-release, what do you do? Like tear up your book and throw it away and then start over again?
There's certain things. I mean, again, talking to Delic and the engineers, I knew were coming. But again, I mean, I had to rewrite chapter after chapter. I mean, the Deus 2 is the same way.
Yeah.
You know, the Deus 2 and the Legend came out about the same time, last November, December. And here we are. We're still waiting for the final release to come out on the Deus 2.
Hey, can I interrupt with a question?
Sure.
And I apologize for doing this, but you know what? I got a guy here, Ed McDonough, is on YouTube here, and his question is this: I haven't started metal detecting yet, and I'm trying to decide between the Simplex or the Legend. Now, he's asking, would Andy's book on the Legend be helpful to someone who doesn't know anything? We know your book is helpful. Real quick, answer that for me. Maybe you could give a quick difference between the Simplex and the Legend, and then we know the book's going to be helpful. But can you help this gentleman real quick with that answer?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously the book is gonna help him understand. And you know, on the back of it, I even say, you know, if you're considering buying one, you'll find this book to be an invaluable research to determine how to set the machine up when you get it. So you buy the book, it tells you exactly what you need to know. You'll understand terminology from the book. As far as the difference between the Simplex and the Legend, obviously the Simplex, single frequency DLF machine, Nokia kind of pushed the envelope in terms of what they got performance-wise. The Legend is a true multi-frequency machine. Operates multiple frequencies at the same time. If you're a beach hunter, if you're a saltwater beach hunter, does the Simplex work? Yeah. Will it be as stable and as deep as the Legend? Absolutely not. So depends on where you're going to hunt. So if you can ask Ed what kind of sites is he hunting, that'll dictate which machine he should go with.
Right. But even with the multi-frequency, even in the dirt, is going to be even more stable. So I would have to suggest the multi-frequency Legend for the fact that it is multi-frequency and not just one frequency.
And then the other thing where Andy's book is going to be invaluable is going, choosing especially a first machine, choosing a simplex over a Legend or a Legend over a simplex. There's a vat. I mean, if you're going to choose the Legend, choose it with Andy's book, because there's a lot more that you're going to have to.
Real quick. Did you write a book about the simplex?
Absolutely. There's simplex handbook.
So the books will help you with any machine. Ronnie, what's the price difference between a Legend and a simplex?
You got about $254 on the simplex. The Pro Pack is $339, and then on the Legend, they just brought the prices down. They were $635, and then the Legend Pro Pack was $735. But they just started a holiday special, or however you want to say it, and the price actually came down. It's really a no-brainer. If he's considering which machine to get, the Legend is going to be the choice, especially with the price decrease.
So let's say his budget is limited and he's only going to hunt dirt. Then the simplex, what do you think, Andy? The simplex would be just as good?
Again, it depends on the ground conditions. I mean, if you're in mineralized ground, if you're out west, something like that, I think the multi-frequency is clearly going to stand out in bad ground.
Yeah.
The multi-frequency is going to, where your single frequencies aren't going to become stable enough, that severe ground. You got better shot at the multi of getting it stable for sure.
But the number one answer to his question begins with budget.
That's the thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what Nokta has done, so there's really 3 packs now. There used to be the Legend and the Legend Pro pack. What they found was Nokta, the Legend is the first Nokta machine that uses Bluetooth. And as long as you buy a set of low latency Bluetooth headphones, and you can buy earbuds if you want fairly inexpensively on eBay for under $30. So if you can buy the Legend without any headphones for $5 something, isn't that right, Ronnie?
I think it's in the upper 4s.
Nice little trick there, huh? I like that, Andy.
Yeah. So what you can do is, some of the beach hunters, what they do is they're taking there's waterproof low latency earbuds that you can buy, and they're using those. And as long as they don't put the machine completely underwater, for the price of a set of earbuds, you got the Legend.
So there you go. Now you're saving money even more by buying the Legend without headphones and purchasing low latency.
As long as you get like
Bluetooth
APTX low latency headphones, they're going to work. You're not going to get that lag.
I like it. All right, back to you, Frank. I'm sorry. I'm kind of letting Frank do the interview tonight because
why?
Because you're better at this than I am.
Well, do we answer Ed's questions?
It sounded, he goes, thanks, guys, for your help. He says, he'll go with the Legend. Will the Legend work with Bluetooth hearing aids? What'd you say?
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
What?
It does. They do, but again, the Bluetooth hearing aids are typically low latency as well, so they'll work with.
Wouldn't that be funny then if you forget to turn them off?
I got guys that put on our headphones and they're way too loud, and then they never they never adjusted their hearing aids.
Those Aquatex.
I have one guy in particular that had that problem. I don't want to mention any names, John.
You know what? I want to tell you something too.
I don't want to mention John Porcello's name. I'm just saying.
I was out yesterday, Frank, with the CTX. The Aquatex are working. For some reason, they're not cutting out on the CTX. So I still think I had a piece of sand in there or something. But those damn things were blowing my ears out yesterday. Jesus God, were they blowing out my ears?
Yeah, they're loud.
And I usually use the CTX without headphones.
I know, because I detected next. It's very annoying.
I don't care. Listen, I'm there to annoy you. Okay, that's my job.
So, Andy, one of the things I'm finding out, and I found out this using on the beach, and I've had a pile of guys recently that have gone this way with the Legend. They're basically eliminating using the multi-dry, and I've done the same thing. I've been using the multi-wet. I've been using it in the sand. I've been in the dry sand. I've been using it. Is there any place that the multi-dry is going to outperform the multi-wet? Because I haven't seen any loss when I'm swinging it in the wet in the dry sand.
No, we actually, when they came up with that saltwater fix, we took it down to Gulfport, and we took it down the wet sand, we took it in the surf, and multi-wet was just killing it, especially with the lower recovery. But when we got into the dry sand, I went to multi-dry, and it was just chattery as hell.
Yeah, that's the thing I've been finding. That's what these guys have been telling me. They've been getting chatter on it, and like I said, I haven't put it back on multi-dry since, I haven't seen any problem with it.
Yeah, multi-wet, and then again, if you go to one of the park or field mode in the dry sand, going to multi-3. But yeah, the multi-dry, I've got mixed feelings. The multi-wet, leave it a multi-wet, go from the parking lot into the water, and I haven't seen any issues with it.
Yeah. That's. I was just wondering if I or these guys were missing anything by not using that dry setting.
Well, but that's again, if you look at the book, and Frank, you should get it today or tomorrow, because did you get it today by any chance?
Actually, my mail didn't come till about an hour ago, so I haven't even been out to the mailbox today.
All right. But the guys in England are finding that leaving the ground balance at 0 and not touching it works well for them. For me, in this area, I mean, we ground balance in the 58 to 70 range.
When you say leaving it at 0 and not touching it, is that leaving it in auto?
No,
or leaving it manual at 0.
Manual 0 and not ground balancing.
No kidding.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if it works, fine. If it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to try it. Exactly. I always ground balance, and it's a lot more stable when I ground balance.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we got guys that are CTX users and are just loving this thing on the beach. Well, our buddy Brian, he's a CTX user, and he's like, because I put the CTX in the closet. He doesn't dig dirt. All he's doing is digging the beach, and when you compare the weight, it's night and day.
Yep.
Digs dirt.
Well, not enough. He's telling me he wants to put the CTX in the closet.
He wants what?
You put the CTX in the closet because he likes the Legend.
I thought you used a bad word. I thought I heard a bad word.
I mean, the nice thing about the Legend is the build quality on it. I mean, there's no removable battery. There's nothing that you can remove and get water. The seals will go bad on it. So, you've got the external battery. You can use it if you want, but it doesn't leak. I mean, I got a guy in the book that's all he's done is hunt beaches in the water for 6 months this year. Got a hell of a spread of rings that he's found, but not a bit of leakage, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and even I mean, I've heard rumors through the grapevine that there were some leaks, but I have yet to see. I've yet to see one, and anybody posting a video or sending me anything that it showed this thing leaking. I've had it underwater a million times and nothing. I mean, it's sturdy. I'm so happy that when they came out with this one, they came out with the carbon fiber lower because
that's great.
I like the Simplex. You could almost jiggle your wrist and swing the coil because that lower shaft flex so much.
That's right. I remember that chassis on that is really nice.
Yeah, it's a well balanced. It's a nice, well built machine.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing was for the price tag. You get into a multi for at a really good price, and it works. That was the thing, is it works. I mean, all the horse crap that we went through with people during the testing. That's why it's called testing. I get aggravated with it. At the end of the day, when they came out with the 108, 109 fix on that thing, I was completely happy with it. Right.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those videos that people were putting out, I mean, as far as these air tests and three-dimensional and put a brick and a coin and a piece of wood and a nail and oh my God. And, you got to put it at 45, not 50 degrees, not 70 degrees, and stand it on its edge. I mean, I want to know how it works in the field. I'm not looking for coins in my driveway sitting on bricks and blocks. And
Some of those videos were a little less than genuine, I think, too.
Seems like there's a lot of that going around.
Will you guys stop? You're killing me.
I'm gonna get Steve to start crying pretty soon.
Why do you think he has his mask on? Doesn't want you to see his face.
Watching my mask for support for tonight's game.
Oh, that's right. Tonight's the game.
Yeah, tonight's the game.
Hopefully I can get it because apparently
Right.
if football teams play on Sunday, I can't see them in Florida.
Oh, you can't?
No, it's like a law that the Eagles are illegal to watch
Good.
here.
Then I'm not going to tell you.
Now it's a Monday night game. I can find you someplace.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, all right, back to your topic.
Andy, how long of research did you do on this before you put the book out?
well, the book just came out last week is when we got it back from the printers. We actually started working on it back in January. So 10, 11 months.
And how many guys did you, whether they're in the book or they're not in the book, how many guys do you reach out to and draw information from when you're doing something like this?
I'm looking at the list right here. I got 42 in the book, and I probably got input from others as well. So
Did you notice a big difference in the input coming in from guys here in the States as opposed to guys digging overseas, like in the UK and stuff? Was there a big difference in how they were treating that machine on those grounds?
there is, but I'm starting to see. Here's the thing. So several years ago, I had Elaine from XP. So he came over to the U.S. and he had a prototype of what is now the Deus 2. And we had him in a park down in South. Well, we had him on the beach in South Carolina, and we were hitting coins that the other machines couldn't.
Uh-oh.
But we took him to a park, and it was a manicured park overlooking the Battery. And after an hour, he came over. He said, I can't believe how much trash is in this park. In Europe, I mean, we hunted a park that was in Germany, built back in the 1700s. We got 3-4 pull tabs all day. We got that just standing in the parking lot. And the non-ferrous trash over here is something that typically, if you're out in the fields in England or Europe where they hunt, if it's not iron, they dig it because it could be something good.
Wow, yeah,
What
for sure.
you're starting to see now is this green waste. They're taking waste and they're turning it into they're turning it over in the fields. And they're bringing some of this aluminum and crap into it. So now the European hunters, the English hunters are starting to, in certain fields, are dealing with the same crap we've been dealing with since day one over here.
Now, what do they routinely not do deep plows over there?
They're getting away from it, but still most of the fields are deep plowed. So you can go through and pound a field to death, and then you come back the next year and it's like nobody's ever hunted it before.
Yeah, well, I actually did a paper on that about the movement, and it's insane. We found out that like your average field plowed a couple times a year, I actually go through like a 4-year cycle, and you can go back in 4 years and find stuff from the lowest point, and it's back up near the surface.
What's amazing though is you see gold coins that were lost in the Middle Ages,
yeah,
without a scratch on it. How it did not get hit by a plow over 300 years it just amazes me.
I often wonder that myself.
Sometimes we see gold coins come out of the ground that are.
I'm off this show. I'm out of here. I'm out. I'm done. Goodbye.
All right, we're gonna.
But I mean, the dirt itself, just the dirt itself. There's no. Is there different tuning of these machines regarding the type of dirt that they have, or it's just basically you're tuning it like you would tune it here?
No, I mean there is differences when you get the book, Frank. Take a look at the field and pasture hunting chapter, and you'll see that some of the settings are in fact different. They make use of single frequency more than we would here. I mean, here typically it's strictly for EMI interference, or maybe if you're looking for a particular target, they'll switch to single frequency more often than we would here.
Yeah, I mean, just recently at some of these events, we were, guys were swinging the knot. First of all, just so everybody knows that the Equinox and the Legend don't like each other. If you don't believe me, try pinpointing your Legend when you're within 20 feet of an Equinox. And the guys were just going crazy because they couldn't. They're in a seated hunt. We're in a small area. There's 50 guys, and I had gotten a couple guys come up, and we dropped it to 15 kilohertz single, and that was it, man. Just it was perfect. So and not just that, because I'm sure there's situations where your single frequency might benefit you. But for EMI, man, we just dropped it out of the multi, and it worked like a champ.
Yeah, I mean, our test area here, fluorescent lights or the air conditioner, it hates multi-frequency, and that's with the Equinox or the Deus or the Legend. So going to 10 or 15 kilohertz takes care of that problem completely. But organized hunts, it always gets me where people have to run high sensitivity. They got to run multi-frequency. They got to run big coils, and the stuff's
or they got to run a PI machine, which I want to wrap around the tray.
Yeah, but a lot of them are starting to say no PI machines just for that reason. But the stuff's 3 inches or less. Ronnie, how many times have you seen somebody digging 12 inches down for a target on a seated hunt?
Quite often. They're just wasting their time, and it's about speed. It's not about depth. So.
I'll tell you a funny story. That's a seated hunt. So years ago, my daughter was still in elementary school. She was helping me bury stuff at a organized hunt in Pennsylvania. And the tool where it's got the pipe with the blade on it, you put it in, you drop it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's handing me the coins. I was talking to somebody else, and I pushed the digger, and I wound up hitting her in the face with the pipe with the digger. Right?
That's nice.
She's got a big shiner. Goes to school. Like, I wound up getting the police stopping by.
Oh God!
So
because the teacher asked her what happened, and she said, "My daddy hit me with a pipe." So
that's tough. That's tough.
That's not very good.
Oh my God!
So tell a story.
Now you got the and again, guys, if you have questions about your Legend, now's the time to ask them. The book is out, right? The book is dropped.
Yeah, we got them.
Yep, books came in. Yep.
The questions that I get about this Legend all the time, get the book. It's gonna seriously help walk you through the ins and outs of this machine. Now, when is the D2 book dropping?
Probably around Christmas time. We've switched printers, and they've got a pretty good turnaround. They got about a 2-week turnaround. The previous one was pushing 3 to 4 months. I said we got to find another printer.
Oh, the printing process was taking 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Now,
we know you get all the inside information, so I'm not going to ask you what you heard about the new machines coming out. I'm just going to ask you, what's your next book going to be? Does it begin with an M?
I do have to ask, and I'm just asking this, and you don't have to answer this, but I heard that it's kind of bulletproof and it doesn't leak.
The Equinox didn't leak either. Right?
Well, listen, I stood in front of Debbie Spakowski's face and said, "Will this leak?" And she said no. So I have to believe it.
Anything will leak if you don't treat it right. I mean, the CTX I've never had a problem with, but if you don't treat it right, it will leak on you. The advertising, it kind of irks me with some of the advertising. I mean, one of the things you probably have seen is 50% more power, right?
Yes.
You know what that means, right?
Will they add another battery to it?
It's a larger battery. It's 50% larger than the Equinox. So to me, it's not false advertising. It's just makes you think you're getting 50% more power out of the coil.
Here's my question about
Frank fell for that. That was the biggest thing Frank grabbed.
Just shut up.
Oh yeah, break
So
my
I had the and the machine will leave the machine nameless, but I had the opportunity to ask the engineer who's going all over the world with this thing about wattage coming out of the coil. And his words to me were, the wattage coming out of the coil to the ground is greater than the Equinox, because they have more capacity to provide that kind of voltage needed to produce that wattage. Is that true?
But Frank, you're an engineer and you understand how GPR and everything works.
Yes.
You get to a point where you've got a certain amount of power that you're putting out of the coil.
Exactly.
If you go beyond that, you start to saturate.
Well, here's the thing: when we're dealing with machines that are only 5.5 to 6 volts maximum,
right.
I gotta kind of believe in my heart that there's the potential for more. I mean, listen, there's a reason why I can pull a coin with the CTX 3030 at 20 plus inches, and I can't do it with a lighter voltage machine. I gotta believe that there's some play in there where we can put more wattage out and not have that rollover, not have that resonant crap that will happen in the ground. I want to believe that. That's what
the other thing with MindLab is if they can come up with a new technology, it's going to have a new acronym. So
yeah, that's true. Well, it's
if you look at the E-Track and you look at the 3030, one is FBS, the other is FBS2, SmartFind 2. So what does the Manicore got?
What is that? Intel IQ Plus? What is it?
2? Yeah. So, I mean, it's got the same frequency spread.
Now, see, and that's the other thing. I was told that the frequency spread is greater.
Target ID is.
I see.
Now, they did go to a 0 to 100 scale, which, I think makes it palatable for a lot of people that the -9 to 40 scale didn't.
All right, you're killing my dreams here, Andy.
I'm glad he's putting you in place.
This is the stuff I want to know, Ron.
I think all the manufacturers.
Move me down on that list a little bit.
What was that, Bud? I didn't hear that.
And then move me down on the list a little bit.
Andy, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm going to read some questions out, I guess, out of the chat. Authorization for the books. How do you get your authorization to write your books?
I go directly to the manufacturer. I've got, a legal agreement I sign with them. When it comes to technical details, I find out, or, I get them to agree what can or can't be released.
So you communicate with them.
Absolutely.
And they give you the authorization to write the book about the machine, but then they also give you the necessary information that they might not necessarily give someone like me so that you can write your book.
They do, but there's a non-disclosure agreement that goes with it. I mean, XP, MindLab were the same way. So I don't. There's stuff that they discuss that doesn't go in the book,
right?
But I need to understand how it works in order to explain it in the book. I mean, if people are looking for a book that explains exactly how the algorithm works, or how many turns are in the coil, that's not the book for you. If you want to know how to use the machine, then don't worry about what's going on underneath the hood.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they don't want you giving away trade secrets either. Some of the technology that you may know that necessarily you're not going to put in your book.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
So, and one of the questions that pops up, though, we've got this past year and a half, we've gotten about 3-4 multis out there, and a multi-frequency generally, in a ballpark way, kind of works in the same manner at how it produces multi-frequencies. Everything, one machine, and we know that there are machines out there that seem to be working better than other machines. Is there that much ability to tweak how this machine performs in the software? I mean, if generally these machines are going through the same process and putting out a series of frequencies, is it the frequencies they're using, or is the software have that much of an effect on how these things perform in the ground?
if it was as simple as taking 5 frequencies and putting them out, obviously how you weight it and how it's processed coming back
Right.
is all software driven. So obviously the software is going to make a big difference. I mean, some of the early revisions, version 1.04, 1.05, 1.06, they changed the processor itself, the software. I mean, you can do that with these updates. The hardware fixes are difficult. I mean, then you're fixed. So
Right.
whatever changes you make are limited to whatever you've got underneath the hood.
So going from the entry level of this thing came out to where it is today, there was nothing done to the physical processor. I mean, this was all software changes strictly.
Like I said, I've got serial number 1, and it's the same. It's running 1.09.
Right.
It's running 1.09. So I can upgrade it or downgrade it just like any other machine, any other Legend.
That's awesome. I mean, it's amazing to me that the software can have that much. And I guess you're right. I guess if you're changing the gate coming back and the timing and how it's receiving those signals on the back end, I guess it can make a big difference because there's a reason that the PI machines aren't discriminating. You're not getting that super accurate target ID when they're just transmitting and receiving and going by the time. But I'm amazed that a very similar kind of process and all these machines can be so vastly different in how they're performing out there.
Quick question: can you update from 1.04 to 109 and skip the other updates?
Absolutely. Each update includes previous updates.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
The one thing I will say though, Frank, you talked about the beauty of the updates. The problem with a digital platform is, if you add a function or modify a function with an update, what manufacturers have found the hard way is that you may change this, but inadvertently change this.
Right.
So
Right.
without doing a full test, and that's some of their early releases, that's why you can't install 1.06, 1.08, because they put it out and realized it inadvertently screwed something else up.
Yeah.
And that's, Deus did the same thing. MindLab, when they release a machine, they're 99.9% sure it's what they want. On the Equinox, they released 2 updates. On the CTX, they released 2 updates. The saltwater and then the Chinese language. But they don't issue update after update after update and then find out that there's a problem and have to reissue another update.
Well, that was kind of an experimental thing, I think, on Notka's part. I mean, not most of the companies aren't doing that, and I think the theory was people like to get their hands on it and they like to see the changes, and then I think the process time I think started getting aggravating to people. We're at update 9, but at the end of the day, it's working. It's working
Frank,
good.
Wasn't it the Simplex they came out with and immediately had an update because they?
Yeah, it's next day.
Yeah, I mean, so they really, I mean, that means they were on top of it. I mean, on top of it.
I agree. I think that the Nokia is constantly looking at their product and constantly looking at their software. I just think from the consumer's point of view, I think the time and then every other day, and it didn't help that we couldn't, the old installers I would sit there literally and install 12 times, and then on the 12th time it would take it. That didn't help. The new installer is also I installed 109 on a new one yesterday or day before yesterday, and it literally took me 10 seconds as opposed to sitting in front of the computer for 2 hours. So I mean they've improved that along the way, but I think that time that it took started aggravating people.
Andy, real quick, what is your opinion on Notka's machine and I'm going to say depth, their penetration into the ground, their depth? Is it just as comparable as every other metal detector out in the market?
Again, I'm going to say based on the ground conditions. I mean, at least where I've used it, and I've run side by side with guys with top end machines from other manufacturers. There's, when we're testing machines, we go out with poker chips and we don't dig anything because I want to make sure that if machine A found it, did machine B miss it, or did you just not get the coil over it, or what?
Right.
So we do a lot of side by side comparisons, and the Nokia holds its own. I mean, as far as depth and target ID, it's holding its own.
Yeah, I believe that. I really do. I really think that Nokia really wanted to come out and not just make their impact on the market, but do it right. They wanted to be, confident in their machines, and I really think that
There's a learning process for Nokia too, because, and again, I'm not going to pick out a specific metal detector, but there were a couple swings and misses on the way to the Simplex.
Sure, but they were conscientious about it. They listened to the feedback.
Exactly.
They even listened to your BS about some of the machines, which I don't understand.
But one of the things that has frosted a number of users is you can't make everybody happy. The bottom line is the Legend is their machine, but it's like everybody was asking, I want this feature, I want this feature, I want this feature. And they kept adding feature after feature after feature, making initially that the menu was very simplistic. But now it's okay, you got to press this button and hold it and touch this, and it's a little more convoluted. Had they started out initially with what functions they wanted to add, they could have streamlined the menu.
Well, that's the only thing. I'm a guy that doesn't mind a million functions on the screen. However, I want to be able to get to them. I don't want to have to jump through hoops to get to that function. If I know it's there, that's fine. And there's a button for it, that's fine. But when I got to start holding this one, raising my left foot, and then putting my pinky on the other one, that's where I kind of get.
We're getting a lot of great
memory. They put the memory in the local memory so that you don't lose it and have to reset that stuff again.
We're getting a lot of great support for the Legend in the chat. I'm reading it as it goes along. There are a lot of Legend owners / users here. So
once the machine is down, and again, I tell everybody that asks me, yeah, listen, you're going to have to dial the machine in. You're going to have to dial the machine into where you are. Once that machine's dialed in, man, there's really, I haven't got a lot of complaints about it all. They're loving that machine.
But it's like Steve said, once you get it dialed in, I mean, I use the 4 user profiles.
Right.
It's a turn it on and go machine.
Exactly.
You turn it on, select user 1, 2, 3, or 4, noise eliminate or interference elimination, ground balance, and start hunting. I mean, you don't fool with anything. Tone breaks, everything is set. But once you've got it dialed in for your area, you're good to go.
And if you're hunting, if you're hunting 4 different areas, you have to have 4 different settings for. You've got them at your fingertip now.
Now here we got Al Audette, who just went on a worldwide vacation. He says his problem is that he can't see the options. That he loves the Legend, but he just can't see the menu options. Do you feel that their font is kind of small?
That's what I was telling Frank earlier. I don't know if I'm getting older or I just need stronger glasses.
Yeah. So
the new cover they came out with for the buttons is a big help.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard to put your glasses on when I'm underwater to read. But that's not just that either.
I got to tell you that, the CTX does have a nice wide screen. You can make the numbers bigger if you want. Why? And especially with today's technology, why are they making screens the size of like a cigarette pack when honestly, you could make them a little better and not add any weight to these things?
Well, I tell you, there's another manufacturer that just sent me a prototype multi-frequency unit, and the screen, it's color screen, but the screen is like this big.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Why are we?
But his answer to me was the cost goes up exponentially as you go bigger in the screen. I don't know, I don't know why, but apparently the screen even double, even 25% bigger is 50% more in price. I don't know, but the price of the screen must be driving the price or the size of the screen.
Steve, John Migloff says you need a flip phone screen.
That smart ass doesn't even need to be watching this show. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's the thing too, and these screens that have multiple things on them at one time. Guess what? The more stuff going on that screen, if you want to get them all on, the smaller the font's going to be. That's the only problem. I mean, you get to a point using this machine where you know what you're doing and you know what button's going to do what. But if you actually have to look at these icons, and it's not just Notka, but they're getting pretty small.
Guess what? How about like, I don't know if this is possible or not, but like a 2-stage screen, like a move things forward and back. Like I'm just going to use like a
touch screen, slide it.
The Knox and the CTX, for example. You press a button and the numbers come forward, and that's all you're seeing. Then when you want to change your options, I don't know, you press a button and they come forward. I don't know, just some kind of idea for people to be able to really see these things better. Like you said, I take these glasses off, I can't read this darn computer.
The next
the Legend. I mean, if you go back to the search screen on the Legend, the options aren't there anymore. So you got to hit that gear button to bring the Legend the options up, and then use the plus button to bring the second layer.
So you can hide them. Is that what you're saying? That's a great idea.
Yeah. Not the end, but you got to bring them back if you want to change something. That's the problem, and you have 2 layers of options.
Yeah, but only if you're going to change something. I mean, you change it, you slide it back.
Yeah.
When do you think they're ever going to just sell you the app so you could use your cell phone? Since the cell phone is pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been talking.
That would be interesting.
They've been talking about it.
Yeah.
For years.
Well, isn't there a detector that does use the cell phone as a screen?
Yeah, they got sued out of business.
Yeah.
Oops.
He looked an awful lot like a Deus.
Oops.
Yeah, it was a Deus with, and that was the remote control.
I mean, they posted on our They posted on our page one time, and I made it, and it was an innocent comment that the coil looked a lot like the Deus coil. And man, he went up one side of me and down the other.
They're based out of Russia, so
let's say they go to that. Let's say they go to that technology and use the cell phone. Would you use, if you have a processor in the machine itself, and you have a processor in your cell phone, does that potentially give them the capability to do more? Or would the cell phone only be used as a screen?
I don't know, because I've got one of the guys that's been talking to me about the Legend. Apparently I don't know why you would, but he's broken, or whatever you call it. He's gotten into the software.
Jailbreak, it's called, I think. Yeah.
Jailbreak, whatever. Yeah. So I mean, he wants to know if I could get him some of the prototype codes that I've got. And I'm like, no. Especially if he's gonna break it. And no, I'm pretty sure that would put an end to any relationship I've got with Notka.
Andy.
With Steve, we just put a pie plate, a stick, and a cell phone playing Three Stooges videos. He's golfing, man.
Andy, you and I are going detecting tomorrow in a farm field, whether it's New Jersey, Pennsylvania, but your average United States farm field. What metal detector are you going to take?
Boy, you're putting me on a spot here, huh?
Yeah. I had to leave it out of, like, where are we going? We're going to a farm field, you and I.
Like Frank said, the machine that I know the best and still swear by is the 3030, right?
Okay.
3030 is a solid machine. If you know how to use it, and you can get that last bit of performance out of it. Deep coins, deep relics, as long as you're not talking super hot ground, the 3030 is a killer machine. Now, the new multi-frequency, which they've narrowed the spread, and they've got more discrete frequencies they run on. They're more of a general purpose machine, and then it's not site dependent anymore. So
right.
No, all right. Let's do this. Let's take the CTX 3030 out of the equation. What are you going to go with next? I'm just asking for a reason. I just want to know if it's what I'm thinking.
Probably a Deus 2.
Okay, wasn't what I was thinking, but I listen. I got to go there. Can I go towards the Deus 2? What do you think of that machine?
That'll be in the book.
They've got one more update that they're going to come up with, and I think that'll restore some of the confidence people lost in the machine. But
Is that the Dirt program?
no,
Well, I got to tell you, there was one day we were on the beach, me and Ronnie. And this is what is amazing. Is me and Ronnie were on the beach. He had the Deus 2, and it was like he was using it for the first time too. So he wasn't really even dialed into this machine, we'll say. And he goes, man, this is really getting deep targets. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, come here, let's go side by side. I swear to God, we were side by side. He was getting a target. He was getting a signal, and I was not getting anything. And we were digging down. There were two of us scooping. I mean, right, Ron? Tell him. I mean, that thing was finding things so deep on the beach. And I don't brag about depth with machines. I don't really care about depth when I go hunting. It's either there or it's not.
Especially on the beach. Yeah, right.
But when I saw this, I was like, he dug a Mexican quarter way down there, and I didn't even get a single tone.
Yeah, but
Is it?
like I told you when you told me that, it was you using the other machine. That was probably the problem.
Andy, please don't mind my other
Yeah,
counterpart.
well,
up there.
again, I'm going to be devil's advocate here because I've heard on the beach. I have heard nothing but great stuff about the Deus 2.
Yeah.
However, I haven't heard that in the dirt. In
Okay.
fact,
But
some
Andy,
word about the dirt has been negative.
on the beach, is the Deus 2 really deeper than other machines?
it will give you surprising depth.
Yeah.
I
Good
mean,
answer.
You got to remember, Steve.
now let's the 3030. Well, the 3030. I mean, that was the king. I mean, unless you wanted to buy a pulse machine, but for small gold, chains, earrings, things like that. The Deus 2, the Legend, and the Equinox. I mean, they're more for that micro jewelry that the CTX won't even see.
Is that
I mean,
because of
if you
the
take
speed of the processor? Is that the speed of
Huh?
the processor?
No, it's because FBS or FBS2, I mean, it inherently doesn't have. If you take a small gold chain, a thin gold chain, and drag it across a Sovereign coil or an XCal or a CTX coil, you'll barely break a threshold on it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
again,
But
I
you
know
do
the CTX when they're stretched out long, it's scratchy at best.
Yeah, but do that with an Equinox or a Legend or a Deus 2, and it hits it solid. Right?
I was thinking in my head that it was because the faster processor sees smaller.
No, it's the technology. It's FBS2. I got a friend of mine in California, and he's been beach hunting for 30 years out there, and he says it used to be the XCal and the Explorer and the E-Track 3030s. He said now you go out there and there's only 3 machines that are on the beaches, and that's the Legend, the Equinox, and the Deus 2. And
I know
see.
when the Nox came out and Steve got the Nox and I was still swinging the 3030 on the beach. When it came to that, that linear type of treasure, he was killing it. We noticed that difference like right off the bat. It definitely likes those machines definitely like chains and thin fine stuff and.
I've gotten, with the Legend. I mean, I've hit. We were down in Gulfport and we were pulling earring backs that, I had to use this pinpointer in the sand to find it because it was so small, and I was getting a solid signal with target ID. And you wouldn't do that with an Explorer, an E-Track, or a 3030.
And that was the same exact thing that I noticed the last couple of times at the beach with that thing was that I was pulling earring backs. I mean, that was the thing. I was pulling these little tiny earring backs that you think the machine's falsing on you and you're chasing it with the pinpointer. It doesn't.
Yeah.
They like to see small.
And if you're in the water with a scoop, it drives you nuts because it keeps falling through the holes in the scoop.
Tell you what, I love having Andy on the show, and I'll tell you why.
The hour goes by so fast.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh my God, we went for an hour, and I'm like
I looked up at the thing. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm into this whole conversation. I'm wondering if my clock is wrong. I'm like, I mean, but he's so knowledgeable, and
Maybe you forgot to turn it back. There's another whole hour to go.
so have you had a good? I don't know if you could say this or not. Are you allowed to? I don't want to say talk about the Manticore, but have you got a good judge of what's there? I mean, have you got did you get information that you don't have to talk about here, but are you gearing up for the big Manticore release, we'll say?
Yeah, I mean, Mark's very proud about the machine. He's the lead engineer for the project. He also was a lead engineer for the Equinox.
Yeah.
So they put a lot of time and effort into the design of that. I think the Deus 2 kind of came out of left field because they Nokta had made no bones about that they were shooting for the Equinox for well over a year. XP just releases the machine when they're ready. They don't have all this fanfare up front. So
now, when you say engineer, are they electronic? What is their title? Like, what are they?
Choo-choo trains.
Why is everybody gonna be smart? I'm trying to answer the question. No, they're electrical engineers, and that's Larry is the project lead for that. So the other engineers, the design engineers that come up with the housing and the electrical engineers that come up with the coil design and the circuit design, they work for him. So typically they assign one engineer to be the lead for the project, and that was Mark. And so it's been 3 years in the making, and that's the machine they came up with.
And I'm glad you cleared that up because Steve thought they all drove trains.
This is what I get. This is what happens when you hang around with monkeys. So, but they also have to have been. I mean, when you're talking about putting out signal and reading signal, I mean, they're not just. I don't want to say your basic engineer, but they must be specialized in making a metal detector. Is that correct?
Microprocessing, stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out what these guys are like.
My favorite story, if you remember George Payne, who, he came up with the first VLF machine for whites, and then he worked for Technetics. And years ago, we were at a dealer banquet one night, and we were sitting at George Payne's table. And the question came up, hey, what's the neatest thing you've ever found with a metal detector? And he looked at us and said, I don't use these things.
Right.
I mean, he understands the concept of what does a metal detector need to do.
How do you get from A to B? Exactly.
And he in his mind, he knows how to do that. When we had a lane over here, we brought several machines down to the South Carolina beach, and we were marking targets. And one of them was a prototype machine, and he said, hey, do you mind if I take a look at it? And he was looking at it, and he played with it and played with the controls. And he says, I know what they're doing wrong with this machine. So in a span of 15 minutes of playing with it, he knew what they could do to make that machine better, but, that wasn't his machine. So
since you have a background with Fisher, and Fisher has always been near and dear to my heart. Everything I use on the industrial side is Fisher. I'm just going to say one word to you. Impulse. Is it ever coming out? Are they done with it?
Oh, the AQ Pulse.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of those unicorn machines. What was the Pulse Devil that Eric Foster was going to come up with years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad because I was excited about this machine because when I first heard about it, it's going to be a PI machine. It's going to discriminate. It's going to do this, going to do that. And then we're going to come on the show, and I had a list of questions. And then when I handed them the questions, it was the last I ever heard of it. And I felt bad because I would have liked to have seen that machine come out and perform.
So you were the demise of that machine.
They've had several of them that you could buy. You can buy a prototype and give them feedback. I mean, that was something that I wasn't going to do. Buy a prototype and tell them what's right or wrong.
Yeah, they sold 101 of those. from what I understand. And I don't know how well that went either, but I was just curious. I was excited for listen, a PI machine that could discriminate. I would have one.
But Frank, I mean, you know that. I mean, for a pulse machine with the discrimination is the pulse delay.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of my questions because they had some kind of unique pulse delay, and I was asking them about other machines that had advanced the delay too much, had problems with it. I said, and did you correct for this? And I never got a response. He never came on my show.
You know, there's a couple of people that post on the forums that have got them. Have they gotten some great finds at great depths? Sure. Have they, dug a lot of crap at great depths?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very niche machine. If you're a saltwater beach hunter and hunting beaches that you're looking for deep gold, not recently lost gold. Otherwise, there's plenty of affordable choices out there right now.
Exactly. And by the time it was ready to come out, so to speak, it was a PI machine. It was guys are going down with PI machines and finding good stuff. They're not discriminating either. So I just felt bad the way the whole thing went down.
I got a good question for Andy. Where do you see the future of metal detectors?
You ask him this question every time he's on.
I cannot answer this question. Do me a favor.
I love the question too.
Shut up. No, where do you see the future of metal detectors going? With technology.
I think I've given people this story before. So a couple of years ago, there was an article in Lost Treasure magazine about a metal detector, and they were talking about the features, and they had pictures that you could see this grainy screen and see a coin in amongst pull tabs or gold ring amongst nails. And I didn't even get to the end of the article. I yelled over to my wife. I said, "I don't care what this thing costs. We're buying this thing. Don't care what the price is." And the last line was April Fool's. So
I firmly believe that at the end of the day, when I leave this earth, we're going to see a better quality imaging detector.
Yeah,
but do you really want that? Frank, for your business, you can use that. But if you're a coin hunter, to me, finding a coin or a ring or a relic in and amongst a bunch of trash speaks to my skill.
For sure.
All I'm doing is swinging the machine, looking at the screen, and saying, "Okay, there's a coin, there's a nail, I don't know."
I get it. The hunt is awesome. However, if there was a machine that I could jam in the ground and all the coins would pop up, I'd probably have one of those too. But I do agree. Well, the hunt is absolutely speaks to your skill. But
let me go back to Steve's question. So where's the technology going? At some point, the last time I checked, I'll check my pockets, but I don't have any large cents and bust coins and gold coins in them. So there's no more of them going in the ground. At some point, the well runs dry.
Yeah.
So how many 20-inch dimes are you going to find in your local park before the park gets shut down because you're there with a backhoe digging 20-inch deep holes? I mean, I've gone to parks before where I've gotten a deep target and at 9 or 10 inches, I give up. Is there something there? Absolutely. But there's more and more times I've gone to places I see people there with shovels that have been there, that there's literally holes where you can see 10-inch diameter holes, partially filled, and then they wonder why places are getting closed. So I think we're going to lose more ground that we're gaining.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not sure if more technology is going to get you. How many times do you go back to that old park that's been hunted for 40 years? How many dimes are you going to find? How many Indian heads, wheat pennies, large cents are you going to find? At some point, they run out. So technology, depth is not the answer. I think better separation is going to give you more than depth will. A lot of my good signals, better targets recently have been 8 inches or less, but in trash. And that's where skill comes in.
We go to farm fields, Andy, and nobody wants to go. We call it the drop and the draw, the two ends where the plow turns around. Nobody wants to go there because it's so packed with garbage. And yet the days that I got no place else to dig, and I'll go spend a day in the trash at the drop or the draw end of a plowed field. Listen, you're going to pull 10 times the amount of trash, but there's still targets hidden in that stuff. there's still targets there because nobody wants to dig it.
So watch this, Andy. Andy, I got to ask you this question, and it may seem a little funny to you at first, but kind of a serious question. Will we ever see a machine that finds gold only? Because everybody says, I want to buy a machine that finds gold only. What do you think about that? Do you think that could ever happen?
Any of the machines, regardless of whether they call it FECO or whether they call it conductivity, or they all work the same way. You're sending a signal down, you're getting a reference signal, you're comparing to the signal coming back. The phase shift is going to be what dictates, the conductivity, whatever you want to call it, of the metal. I think the gold, you can have, anywhere from 9 karat to 22 karat.
That's
White
right.
gold, yellow gold. I mean, all these other alloys, they can range. If you look at the old White's analog machines, they go everywhere from nickel to pennies is where the gold range can be.
Right.
So I don't believe you can come up with, they're always going to read 36. I mean,
As
I can do
long
that.
as you've got a pull tab that rings somewhere in the same range as gold, how do you separate that out from the gold?
Or shredded aluminum or,
Yep.
or anything else that falls in that range.
Yep.
No, I now understand your answer. I like that you really, you know what? Yes, because the different carats, the different alloys, it's probably basically impossible unless you're looking for 24 karat gold, and or something like that. But
Unless they can find some fragment of a molecule that is unique to any carat of gold, you have no way of identifying that from
Right.
something that's ranged in the same range.
we all and listen, I probably said I know I said it. I'm not gonna lie. Before I got into metal detecting and I knew nothing about it, in the better days when I didn't know Frank either. I said, yeah. Well, what's the dream come true? What do you want to find when you go metal? Gold. So I want a metal detector that only finds gold because that's all I want. And we see that that's just not feasible. And I see why. But now I see why. So from now on, when someone asks me, I'm going to say, Andy Savage said this, and that's what I'm.
I mean, I had a guy come by one time and he wanted to come up with a gold coin program. So we had, $2.5, $5, $10, $20 gold pieces. He says, no. He says they need to be the rarer dates is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I got you. The rare, yeah. Oh, now we want gold coins, but now we want the rare dates.
That's right.
And did you say, Frank?
No.
Stop calling me. Because I
I
mean,
mean, we had a guy in Michigan that swore he could tell you if it was going to be a Barber, a Merck, or a Roosevelt before he dug it.
Wow.
I
God
mean,
bless him.
he was right 1/3 of the time, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
we always kidded. Let me tell you. Let me guess. Heads up, heads down, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
See, when that imaging machine comes out, you'll know. You'll be able to
Okay,
see
so let's discuss this. The book is out. We know you can get it from the golddigger.com.
Andy sells them too.
Andy sells them. Andy, you know the deal. Whenever you're on our you have carte blanche on our page. Any other time it was given to you before, whatever you want to post, any advertisements on where to get your book, any advertisements about any book you sell, you are more than welcome to put on our page. How much does this book sell for?
$19.95. It's a 170-page book.
So Ronnie, you sell it for what? $39.95. We know you. Oh, here it is. Yeah, hold it up. Let's get a look at it. And how many pages is it? Let me see that. That's
It's 170 pages.
right.
And
That's
let me
like
see
a
what-
lot more in depth than any ugly book you'll ever read, right? Any ugly.
I was very target specific on that book.
Oh, you were 30 pages, and then this guy.
I was 80 pages.
Look at this guy. Look at that. Look, he didn't even stretch out the wording like you did.
Oh, look at that.
You know what? Why did you just do? You know what? This
Now
show's
the
over, folks.
price is $49.95.
Listen, I am shutting Detective America down. What possessed you? You want to sell these books? What would possess you to put his name in that book?
I had to ask
price
Frank 2 or
just went
3
up.
times to give me some more information to put in a book because the book was too short.
I got to.
I
Yeah,
was
exactly. Yeah.
I was writing
Yeah.
a manual about the damn ugly book.
Now I got to hear this as seen in Andy Savage's book.
Oh no, I'm not sitting here on another computer grabbing that picture and putting it on the page. I wouldn't do that, Steve.
You're only feeding to his ego, Andy.
We need to go out to your mailbox, see if it's sitting in your mailbox.
Oh,
man.
I'm going the second I leave here. I'm going to
So-
read it. I'm going to frame it. I'm going to take pictures.
Andy, we're going to wrap up. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap up?
Well, yeah. So let's say we got 2 books. We can either give 2 of these or 2 of what. Give a book to 2 people, and they can pick this one or one of the other books. We'll send them out to them.
We've got 2 Andy Savage books going up on auction, on giveaway, on the block. I can't thank you enough for that because you are the best.
So,
And we
Andy,
got-
for your customers that want me to sign that book, just send a couple my way.
Ah.
We'll get them out.
Why?
I think people put me in their book, Steve, just to get at you.
You know what? I sometimes think the same thing too.
All right, Steve, you're going to be in the next book. We're going to get a picture of you in the next book.
There you
On,
go.
on the horse, because that will draw a lot of attention.
Listen,
Him
you-
riding the horse at FHA.
Yeah, you'll win a Pulitzer. You put me in there. I don't know. You put me in a book. What are you gonna put me in a book for?
What's the
Biggest-
story with the horse?
What's the story with the horse?
The
We
horse
were at-
might get out of the hospital soon.
So we were at the hunt, Florida Hunt 8, which is for outdoor. Was it outdoor freedom?
Freedom, soldiers, freedom outdoor.
Soldier Freedom's outdoor for the vets. It's a retreat for the vets, and I've done some unique things. I wrestled a pig one year and I won. Everyone's still arguing whether I won or not, but I wrestled a big pig, champion. I got the trophy.
The pig was housebroken and sleeps in a bed.
So last year I had to come up with something, and no one knew what I was going to do. So in the middle of the hunt, here I come out on the big horse.
Like a
Of course it was.
Clydesdale or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a big draft horse, and they swore it wasn't going to run nowhere. So I was happy. And here I come out on the horse, man, and I'm walking. I'm not riding. So it was everybody was amazed.
The picture that you need in the book isn't him on the horse; it's him getting on the horse.
Oh, and listen, the rumor is the horse was 6 inches shorter when I got off, but I think that was a lie.
Well, luckily Peter dropped the lawsuits about so we're good now.
So you know what we'll do? I'm going to get the drawings ready, Andy. We'll let you sit in on this, and we'll keep goofing around. I love having you on the show. You are just the man. So I'm going to take all the names, and we'll do the drawings for the book and the fake coin Frank's giving away. So keep talking while I do this.
Andy's
Ronnie.
got
Yes, sir.
2 books.
So he's got what?
2 books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 books to give away.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm picking the names. We'll do, and the usual Detect America rules apply. We call your name. You have 1 minute to answer. And I'm scooping up all the names now. There we go.
Steve, there's someone lurking behind you.
Oh no, really? Again, will you get out of the...
Hi, boys.
Oh Jesus.
Hi.
Hi, Deb.
Frank, I still miss you.
Yeah, I know.
I miss you guys too.
All right, I got all the names. So what we're going to give away 1 book first. I'm going to call the name. And if it's me, I'm winning. It's me, I win. Well, you go get in the truck for God's sake. I told you to stay in the truck.
I'll send you.
Uh-oh.
I'll send you a picture of my.
All right, this
blurb in the book.
this one is a YouTube video. Digging Buddy was watching us on YouTube. So Digging Buddy, you got 1 minute to answer up on YouTube, and you can get a book, one of Andy Savage's books.
Yeah, because
I have your
Andy still got to go
CTX.
to the drugstore for Charlene.
I think I got. You know what? I think I got his CTX and Equinox book. Digging Buddy on YouTube. You need to respond within 1 minute to win your book. See, this is what happens, Andy. They log on to our show, and about 3 minutes later, they bail. They're like, "Steve's on the show tonight. I'm out of here."
Yeah, we still got a buttload of people watching.
Oh, we do. Everyone's watching, but this is really the first time someone I think on YouTube has won. So I got to go by the rules and give him a good opportunity to answer. But if he doesn't answer within 1 minute, then he can't have the book. That's our rules.
Hey, Frank, what are you swinging down in Florida right now?
I'm swinging the CTX. I mean, here's the thing. I've been here 2 months. I've actually been in my house for about 2.5 weeks, from running from hurricanes, and then we were gone for 2 weeks on a little digging adventure. Then I had another hurricane. So this week I'm hitting the beaches, and I'm gonna give the legend a shot on the beaches down here. But anything outside of that, it's going to be hard to pry that from my cold dead fingers.
Can I ask you a question, Frank? How many times have you detected since you moved down there?
I detected every day for about 14 days.
How many? Yeah, okay, good. So, Digging Buddy has not answered. I apologize. So, his win is null and void. We're going to pick the next person because people have answered on YouTube. So I know the chat is moving on YouTube. So the next person up on the block is, oh boy, Bruce Nolan.
Bruce Nolan.
Wait, is he Canada?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
I already said that, well, the coin I will ship to Canada if a Canadian wins tonight.
That's on you.
I'm gonna.
The coin can go to Canada. I don't know about the book. So Bruce Nolan, you have 1 minute to answer. And he watches our show pretty regularly. So
Andy, I shipped a 1 ounce letter, a coin in a letter, 1 ounce. It's like every other stamped envelope here. It cost me just shy of $16.
All right, and Bruce,
The book's going to the UK and Scotland and Germany. Yeah, I was shocked when I found out what those top books were.
All right, so Bruce Nolan's here. Andy, who does he have to contact with the address? You or Ronnie?
You can get a hold of me, and
Okay.
I'll make sure those books go out. Just make sure you send me a USPS address because they go priority mail.
All right, so Bruce, send your address to Frank and Mr. Sabish with a U.S. Postal Service address. Okay, and we'll do one more book. And let's see how this goes. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows.
And Bruce, you can let me know which book you want, if it's the Legend or one of the other books.
Yeah, you tell them what book you want, Bruce. BJ Young. BJ Young, you now have 1 minute. You're on the block with 1 minute to win a book. Again, we're sorry if you're in we're not mailing to Canada. Especially if Tom Davis wins. He don't get nothing. Tom Davis is our Canadian buddy. So BJ Young, BJ Young is here.
All right, good job.
So BJ Young, I hope you're an American. So yeah, I hope you're an American and you get in there and everything else.
Now, Steve, when we give away the coin, don't try and pick Canadians. Let the wheel do the work.
I'm just gonna pick me is what it's gonna do. So before we do the coin, we'll say goodnight to Andy. Again, you're a great guest, and I
As
appreciate
always,
you
buddy.
being on here. Yeah,
No, man, I appreciate it. We'll definitely get together this coming year.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ryan,
we're
would you like?
gonna have to. Hopefully, and there's no new viruses floating around the earth. And
No,
Ronnie,
don't even start,
Would you
man.
like to say goodnight to Mr. Sabish?
Andy, always a pleasure, buddy. Who knows? I'll see you soon. I always run into you somewhere.
All right. Good talking to you guys.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to meet you. We almost did in Florida. We got it.
I know. We almost did in Illinois. That didn't happen. Next time it's gonna happen.
Andy, I think I'm catching word that maybe South Carolina for the Florida Hunt 9. You think you might be there?
That'll work. Let's go. Just
Good.
gonna say Florida Hunt
Good.
9.
You're gonna regret meeting me, man. You're gonna be like, yeah, he was right. He wasn't kidding.
Yeah, but
You're gonna be.
say hi to me and Ronnie first, because after Steve, it'll be the last time.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. All right. Good night,
Hey,
Andy.
guys.
Frank, let's say
Thanks.
good night.
All right.
Good night, buddy.
Bye.
Good night, guys. So, listen, I'll tell you what, a great guest. I mean, that guy.
He always is. You just
Yeah.
look up at the clock and it's an hour already.
But like I said, sometimes though, the technical talk sometimes is beyond, just a little beyond
Yeah, but
my
he
supreme
can
comprehension.
he can present it
Oh,
And
he
they-
dummies it down for me. Yeah, he dummies it down, but a lot of good answers to these questions tonight, which I think are great. And he's really an integral part behind a lot of these machines that people don't
yeah.
know because
Yeah,
he-
people don't know how involved he is with a lot
right
of
because
machines.
besides him getting the information for the books, he gives them information for their machines.
Oh yeah.
It works.
Oh,
It
yeah.
works two ways because then he gets their prototypes, tests it out, and his input is very integral. It's not like giving it to me. Like, you give me a machine and ask for input, and I'll be like,
When they say rocket scientist, he like really is.
Exactly, yeah. So I just want to tell everybody out there that over the weekend was Ron's wife Lisa, her birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa! And I just want to say I don't know who celebrated more, her or Ronnie,
Wait,
I had to.
I have a picture I'm going to put up.
because
Oh,
Oh, oh.
I got one I'm going to put up too.
I wonder if she's watching now. She said she was
So-
she was watching before.
I just want to say Ronnie was really what we'll say out of his element this weekend, and I was getting text messages about it. So, Ron, were you the video of you eating dinner?
Yes,
You were intoxicated.
a little bit. I
Yeah.
just I can't figure out. And again, not to be what's the word I'm looking for, racist or anything, but how the hell do you eat rice with two sticks?
I saw you were doing it too, and you were drooling at the same time.
Go to the Chinese restaurant, Ron. They pick up the bowl and they go like this.
Yeah, that's about that's what I looked like the other night.
I cannot use those damn things. I can't do it.
Folks, I do want to tell you this though. When we speak of Ron being intoxicated, he is at the casino. He has a room. There's no
right.
driving whatsoever.
No
Ron
driving.
practices.
Oh yeah, no.
Ron practices safe drinking,
Mhm,
and
absolutely.
so we can't really speak about the other things Ron did over the weekend. But you were way out there. You were way out on the
I
island.
hope those pictures don't leak. That's all I'm saying.
My wife wanted to send another picture, and I told her no. I said, we're not taking no more pictures.
What are you two doing in those hotel rooms?
I don't know. I don't know.
And my wife wanted to say thank you to Lisa for her gift.
Okay,
So
good.
I love it.
she loves it. So
Yeah.
we will do the drawing.
And your stuff is on its way, Steve. I haven't decided if I'm giving Ronnie a shovel back yet.
That's fine. Well, listen, you can always just pay him for it and keep it.
I know, but I might want a new one.
Yeah,
You know what,
that
Frank?
was
I
the
thought-
old one. Yeah.
He got me. Ryan finally charged me for the shovel. I thought I was this close to getting away with it. It's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching and all of a sudden I get this email. The gold digger has charged you for your shovel. I'm like, yeah, he got me.
Yeah.
All right. That's all right though. But I pay my way in life, that's for sure. I'm not a tester, or what do you call it? A value tester, or whatever they call them, an influencer. I'm not like that. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. John Kula. There was a lot of names real close together. John Kula, you have 1 minute to answer up to win. Oh, you win a 1923 peace dollar. Oh, I want that thing.
That's nice.
Yeah, how'd that happen? Does John Kula live in Canada?
John Cooler lives in. Is that John the father or the son? One of them lives in Florida, not far from me.
I be Neil. This is live. He goes, is this live? I just got off work. Yeah, you lost. John Kula is here. He is a wiener.
Yeah,
I like
Yeah.
this. Does anyone get pissed off with seated hunt admission fees? Well, it all depends. They range. Some are,
There's a few that have made me angry.
yeah, I've been very happy with some, and then again,
Like
some are way out of
Florida Hunt.
range.
Florida Hunt's
Huh?
the best bargain in town.
What kind?
Florida Hunt.
Florida Hunt.
Florida Hunt 8?
FH.
Nine,
Oh God,
10.
yeah. Because listen, it all depends. I mean, why? Real quick, if you're asking the question for the admission fee and what you think you're going to win and go home with, well, you can't always say you're going to win twice your money or whatever you do there. But Florida Hunt 8 is all about the camaraderie. Let's not forget there's seated hunts, there's
Natural hunts.
natural hunts. Yeah, the natural hunt. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into that question. You know what I'm saying? So as long as the admission fee meets your satisfaction, or meets the kind of hunt. If you're charging $300 for a non-seated hunt, well, I don't know. What's your opinion there, Frank?
I get it. The admission fee goes directly most of the time to what you're pulling out of the ground in some of the seated hunts, but some of them I think are a little outrageous.
Just a quick answer for Michelle. Michelle, there's a couple of, depending on where you are in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
If you're up in North Jersey, then it's East Coast Research and Discovery.
South Jersey Metal Detecting Club.
And if you're down
is
in
the
South
best.
Jersey, also.
You want to
So,
come hang with me,
both sides of the
Ron?
state.
You want to come hang out with me and Ron? The South Jersey Metal Detecting Club meets every other Thursday, which that's going to change though.
No, not every other Thursday.
What's going to change? Second
Sure.
Thursday of every month.
Right.
It's going to change to Tuesdays, I believe. But it's located in Barrington, New Jersey. So if you're anywhere near Barrington, Camden County, New Jersey, she's in Hudson County, I think. Is that what she just said?
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
But
she's
anyway,
in Hudson
that
County.
would be North Jersey.
Yeah, she's in Hudson County. Then that's the
North Jersey.
ECRDA.
ECRDA. Yeah, Ronnie's a member of that. Joe Jorgensen is the president. He's a great guy. So you can always send us a message, and we'll send us a message after the show. We'll get you into the better of the two.
They're the closest.
But South Jersey's coming a long way. You know why? Because Frank moved to Florida.
We're opening up the Florida division.
Are you the Florida division?
There you go.
So Ronnie, business going well? You had a nice weekend?
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw.
Doing, very, very good. I'm really surprised. It's just starting to pick up again. So we're happy.
Good. And we have Andy's books in order. You can get a hold of any of Andy's books. I mean,
yeah, I have.
Go down and check my mailbox now.
He sent you one because your name's in it.
Well, he tried to have one here before the show, but it didn't get here in time.
Dude, you will sell your soul for anything.
No, I have a price.
No, yeah, you know, it's very low. It's a very cheap.
I didn't say it was expensive, but I have a price.
Yeah, you'll sell your soul for anything. I'd like to know what you did to get your name in Andy's book.
Oh wait,
He's even got
What
the
did I have? Oh,
paragraph.
my
The
God.
lead paragraph.
Stop. Is that it, really?
Yeah. It just happened to be there.
What a coincidence!
Hey, where'd that come from? Oh, there you go. I see the mail girl is there.
I got a case of them over here if anybody wants one.
Look at this.
Did you just fall?
I will
No.
sign it too. I'm looking for my name, but I have to hunt through it.
You're on page 0 for a reason.
That's all right.
You're on page 0, Frank.
Just knowing I'm in here is fine.
That's
Jesus
right.
God.
They didn't put a picture of you in there, though. That's
Ronnie,
the problem.
As soon as we hang up,
they couldn't print enough books to sell if they did. That's the
I
problem.
say as soon as we shut off this show, 30 seconds, he'll have it posted.
Yeah, I might take longer to find it.
He can't wait to post. And you know what? The Eagles look like they're playing pretty well here.
The Eagles are the greatest team on the planet.
See what it's 14-10, so it can go any way.
They don't go the Eagles' way.
They're
Frank,
playing the Redskins.
Frank, your book
They should be killing them then, right?
Listen,
Your book should be signed in the front. Did you look through the front cover?
Ah!
yeah.
to my friend, the greatest detectorist I've ever met. That's incredible, Andy. Thank you so much.
I need to quit this show. I need to put this to an end.
Andy's going to do a pizza book next. You're all in.
Yeah, that's what I'll be in. Yeah, the best pizza there is. So it looks like Washington's in the red zone here. Listen, folks. I don't watch football for a reason. They disrespected my flag, and I've been on protest. So I watch very, very little of it. I'm a big Eagles fan, and this is just a little bit of it that I watch. So when you hear me say I don't watch football, there's a reason. If you can't stand for the playing of my national anthem, then I got a problem. Ronnie, get me out of here, buddy.
Yeah, let's call it a night. We're about a half hour over.
Oh yeah, it was a good show.
All right, very good, man. Had a great time.
Great seeing you.
Always good to see you, Frank. Now that you're not living around here no more.
You see just about as much of me as you did then.
That's true. That's about right.
Good. Now get back to work, will you?
I am a working fool.
Good night, everybody. Frank,
Good night,
you
Ron.
got some boxes coming up, right?
Yeah. I was surprised. I thought you'd get them today.
I'll probably get them tomorrow. That's cool. All right, everybody. Have a good night, man. Thanks.
All right, buddy.
Watching.
Good night.
Had a great time. And Frank, don't post my pictures on.
What about me?
Yeah, well, that's true. I think you're the one I got to worry about.
Yeah, I am the one you got to worry
Ronnie's
about.
got pictures of you, so the push.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We
Yeah.
do have your picture with the KJ Ringy's camera.
All right,
All
good
right,
night.
folks. Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right, Frank. Great show. Hey, what are we looking to line up next week? What are we?
I don't know yet. I've got feelers out to 2 or 3 people. Somebody, but we'll see.
Well,
Maybe Santa Claus.
no. What? You're not involved in this show. Will you stop speaking?
Santa closer to the house.
Now I understand why they had TV studios, because they could leave their wife behind and go do their show where they can't be bothered.
DLEC is coming up. We got Spanish Main Antiques coming up. We just don't know who's going into what slot
Have
yet.
you gotten any word from him? Because you know what? I sent Mark Anthony a message and I haven't gotten
I'll check. I'll send him another message.
How about Gypsy?
And so you know what? Maybe I'll reach out if find out, and then if not, I want to get Paul from Paul's Coins on.
Paul's Coins were due for April and Robert Connect.
I was just going to mention them too. Yeah, because I was texting a little bit with him too. Have you talked to them about coming on?
I have not. But I
Well,
will.
get on it. Schedule something with them. They're the best.
Love them.
So yeah, real question came up. You know, if people are still watching, question came up. A friend of mine bought a coin in a bezel. The person said that's off the Atocha, but you know what? I lost a certificate of authenticity. Was asking me if it can be authenticated that it came off the Atocha, and all the research I've done, I spoke to. I got a message back from Melvin Abt, ABT. He is the grandson of Mel Fisher that I met at the Fisher Museum last time I was out there. His words are negative. It can't be proven without a certificate of authenticity. No one's going to put there and the person kind of really would do anything to get it, you know. And I'm sure that, listen, there's many people out there that have a coin that were told, oh, this is off the Atocha, and they would go to any length to get it authenticated.
Sure.
Because you know why? There's a couple things. Number one, there's all fakes out there. You can take any coin and put it in a bezel and say this was off the Atocha.
Ooh,
Without that certificate of
tonight?
what's that?
Oak Island's on tonight.
No. So without that certificate of authenticity, also, don't forget, Atocha, there's 2 types of Atocha coins. There's the original Atocha coin that was salvaged off the ship from the bottom of the ocean. Then there's the reproductions they made with the silver bars. So they don't hold as much value as an authentic coin recovered, but they were made from silver recovered from the wreck. I don't know the difference in
Exactly.
value, but I know the coins recovered from the Atocha are valued more. So, you know, if you've got an Atocha coin out there and you've got a certificate of authenticity, don't lose it.
Exactly.
You're losing probably 10 times what the coin is worth. I would have to say almost 10 times the value with that cert. You know, so but the best you can do. I had a guy respond on one of my Facebook messages. Well, I can look at it and tell you if it's a Tocha era. Yeah, no kidding. We know that.
Yeah. Okay, you look at the year.
We're not saying it's a real, it's a fake coin. The coin it tested real for silver. It's probably a real coin. And he goes, but I can't certify that it was salvaged. Yeah, no kidding. That's what I was saying in my text, in my post. I know that. You know what I mean? So real quick, I guess we could find this out talking to one of the coin guys, but what is the definition of a cob coin?
Cut of bars. So they're cut
Right.
off of bars and they're hammered.
Right, they were cut off the bar. Okay, did they make round cobs though? Did I ever see a round cob or no? No.
A lot of guys call them cobs, but I think a cob is hammered and asymmetrical.
The Spanish reals. The Spanish real cobs are the square ones, yeah, before they were made to be round. But like I said, if you got an Atocha coin, don't let go, because the certificates of authenticities, the good ones, have pictures of the coin. So therefore that's and you can look at the coin and see it in that picture. Oh, and then they go, all right, so this coin was in a bezel. They're like, well, I'll just send it to NGC for grading. No, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. They're not going to tell you it. NGC is not going to certify that coin as
They'll tell you
being
it's authentic. That's all.
well. They'll tell you the coin's real.
Yeah.
They'll tell you the approximate year and era, and sure, it may have been the same type of coin that was on the Atocha, but they're everywhere. So
Right.
and NGC, I said, there's no sense getting it graded. It's in a bezel. Wear the damn thing.
Exactly.
Because if you send it to a grading, you know what you get? Jewelry piece, because they know it's in a bezel.
Send it to me. I'll sign it. It'll bump the value right back up.
What are you going to attach it to Andy's book?
Yes, I'll send you a picture with Andy's book.
All right, guys, great show. We're going to work on some more guests for you. Thanks, everybody.
All right,
And
guys.
We're out.
See ya.
We're out. We're out.
Yeah, not yet.